people of Swaziland themselves, they themselves would prefer to be part of South Africa because they know that they're being taken advantage of. They understand that if they had to have a South African president as their president as well, and Swaziland becomes the 10th province of South Africa, it would be a lot easier on the people. It would actually bring more reform and more structure and more equality amongst the people, because Swaziland itself is also an aristocracy.
Yeah, but even
Mangosuthu once they went there, and within a day, Mangosuthu, if he was a president, I'm sure even Zimbabwe was gonna belong to South Africa, man. Even Zimbabwe was gonna be part of South Africa. He was gonna enter Mugabe there.
what Mzansi was saying, the people of Lesotho, I said this the other day, for the longest time have been wanting to be annexed by South Africa. They even took to the streets marching in Maseru, asking for, they were basically delivering a petition to their parliament, and it was rejected, unfortunately or fortunately. But they've done this on multiple occasions, and their argument is, but a lot of them are already here and a lot of them are suffering. So my concern is, if we were to annex them, what about, what would be the impact on our fiscus? Because it's an extremely poor country, and they also have a very, very bad, crisis with HIV. So I'm just like, maybe if we can do a feasibility study whether or not it is even viable economically.
We contain them. We do it gradual. We need to, maybe we go for like 10 years of containing them. We don't really open the border, but we take charge of the administration. We start projects to develop that area. Before we absorb them to South Africa, we have already stabilized the economy, and it has grown to match up the South African standards. We don't just wake up and open up that country to South Africa. Of course, that wouldn't make sense. But we need to take hold of the administration, start to do the project in South African standards, and everything South African, but we still keep them in Lesotho until we develop Lesotho.
I understand what you're saying, but in Lesotho there is a party called ABC, for those that are from Lesotho, they know, which is famous. And many other parties, and they are they pride to be Basotho. I'm talking about, yes, individually, so when you were to ask, chances are they will prefer to be part of South Africa, but the politicians themselves, remember, they are benefiting out of all those issues of everything in Lesotho. They are looting, they're doing all sort of things. So if they were to become part of South Africa, chances are some of them are not going to be part of the people who will eat. They'll be rejected, or they won't get any opportunities. So I think because even this decision is likely to be made by the leaders, including the Morena wa Basotho, they actually benefiting more when as Lesotho as it is now, rather than if it were just to be part of South Africa. So that's one of the disadvantage. But with what you are saying in terms of the risk, I really, really agree with what you are saying. I understand what you are saying. So, we if you remember, is it Botswana? Botswana also at some point had military. I heard that now they've moved out. They're no longer the American base, the military base in Botswana. So it's no longer there. I think it's maybe under this current president. I heard. I'm not sure, but I understand the threat.
And guys,
what I understand about the whole Botswana situation with the U.S. military being moved out was because their intelligence found out certain things that the military in the U.S. was not, let me not say the military, but government, the US government was planning to take over certain areas that were supposed to be diamond-rich areas of Botswana. And that is why they got the military out of there, and they did it peacefully. They did it before they could do any damage. So that's why the US military actually moved out of Botswana. They were not there to protect them. The whole reason why they went into Botswana was they said that they want to train, and they want to train in those conditions because it's very similar to the conditions that the US military was fighting in with the Arab Spring situation. So that was the reason for coming in.
There's nothing that America does.
When they found out, it was actually to gain certain lands there.
No, Botswana is more like, I mean, it's yes, it's desert, but it's not like America. I mean, states like Utah, it's almost the same, almost the same weather and all that. So I don't really think that was the case. I mean, America alone is so big. It makes sense
that they wanted to exploit. So it's proximity to minerals that they know they get.
Yes, it's about the minerals. It's not really about the weather.
I've got like 7 friends from Botswana. There was never a military base in Botswana, guys. There was never a military base in Botswana. Let's be honest. I've got 7 friends from Botswana.
It was a training camp. Correction of speech. Training camp.
Yeah, not a military base.
Not base. Training camp. I stand to be correct.
No, I can't sleep with people.
And if you really think about the actions of this individual, this minister or whatever he is that went to Israel, if you really think about it, it's an act of aggression. He's instigating a hostile takeover because he didn't follow any diplomatic channels, even to consult with the South African government or anything like that. So you can see how this is actually an act of aggression in that sense. And I think this also makes Maposo's point about, the security concern that they're now posing. If they are now able to leave the Republic and go and collaborate with external elements to seize almost forcefully a part of a sovereign nation, I mean, that's an act of aggression, is it not?
It is the case, and in fact, that's why I was listening to Malema about Kagame. That our president somehow is really weak. That aggression, what Kagame did, denigrating and insulting South Africa, it needed a response, and so that you send a message out there that you can't do that towards South Africa, and I think they are emboldened by the likes of your Kagame nonsense, you see, because they feel like nothing could be done to them.
That move Lesotho done, it's just that we like Basotho and Botswana because they're closer to us, but let's be real, there's nothing that threatens South African security now more than that move alone. I mean, knowing that such things can always be pulled and happen, that gives Israel and Britain a huge power on us, because anytime they've got an agenda, who only God knows, what if Israel military is already there in Lesotho? What if they're already preparing there? The fact that we allow Lesotho to continue existing out of our control and power. If Lesotho was to exist as Lesotho, but let's have total power over it. Now, you think America will accept a country existing within the borders of America going out to Russia and asking Russia if they can help them to get the land of America?
Absolutely
this is a bigger
not.
than we think.
They would never allow such a thing. I mean, that's a declaration of war, essentially.
I mean, it's one of the reasons why America bought, what is that place again? What is that place between Russia and America? That cool place? Alaska. Yes, so that is why. So so I mean,
it was Russia before.
They bought it from Russia, but it made more sense for them to have it, because if they didn't, they knew that Russia was going to be more, America was going to be more vulnerable to Russia because of that space. So the same goes for Lesotho. I feel like we should take it in, like Maboso said, small by small, inch by inch, because if we are hosting more than 2 million immigrants, illegal for that matter, I mean, it means we are very much capable of hosting Lesotho. We just have to do things legally, and I feel like with everything that Lesotho is, things will get better once they have more opportunities, they feel more noticed, and there's a different type of leadership and in a bigger scale, and I feel like it will make more sense because we already have Basotho people in South Africa. There's no type of adjusting that we'll be having, that's going to be hard.
That's actually what China did China did that to Hong Kong. Remember Hong Kong, which is the island there. Yeah, Hong Kong is actually, for it is under, even though I'm not sure if currently they're still using different currency, but at some point they were using different currency, but it's part of China now.
Yeah, and you make a very good point.
Now they use the Hong Kong dollar.
You make a very good point about, because for me, when it comes to these things, merging countries and people and things like that, it's cultural integration. That's the biggest one for me. I just hate the notion of having to integrate with people who are very, very different from us. So I think there's a lot of cultural familiarity with Lesotho as opposed to people from West Africa and all that nonsense. Yes.
Just 1 second. Remember, we have provisions in the Riotous Assemblies Act number 17 of 1956. The last statute actually gives the president to charge people with treason who are actually seeking, instigating foreign intervention in internal affairs.
True.
With intentions to harm the state. And
even AfriForum should fall under that category.
Yes. Obviously, this was brought into our attention with regards to what AfriForum is doing. And seriously, AfriForum, they are actually asking for a regime change. And Ramaphosa, the law allows him to deal with them thoroughly.
Like the way...
But he won't.
Personally, for me, I feel like people like the AfriForum, they are so dangerous. Their citizens just need to get stripped away from them, and they should be,
they are very
thrown out of the country completely.
They need to be arrested.
Arrested is not enough, because we know how our legal system has a lot of loopholes. They're always going to find a way to use it against us.
There's a way to look at how we are prosecuting the military, the people that helped Israel. They can't even stand